Greetings, YouTube. So, New York State has decided that religious exemptions are no longer valid reason to not vaccinate children. Um, and they gave a 2-week grace period to parents who had not vaccinated their kids to get their kids vaccinated before the school year got full speed ahead. And as the deadline approaches and children are now being kicked out, there are many parents that are very upset at this. And they have equated this act as segregation and Jim Crow. Now, I don't know if any of you know what segregation and Jim Crow means. Well, segregation and Jim Crow referred to the fact that non-white students, specifically black students, were not allowed to attend schools where white students attended. And Jim Crow laws were laws designed to limit the voting rights of black people. So these were actions, both legal and non-legal, just social behaviors in some cases, but some actual laws that prevented black people from having the full rights of their white counterparts were based on race. You were born into the world a particular racial makeup, and the laws said if you were white, you got one set of rights, and if you were black, you got another. The black people had no control over this whatsoever. The black people couldn't just spontaneously say, nah, I don't want to have that affect me. If I just do this magic thing, suddenly segregation and Jim Crow laws will no longer affect me. Didn't happen that way. As opposed to not vaccinating your children. If you don't vaccinate, I have a cat here, sorry. If you don't vaccinate your kids, that's the problem. But if you vaccinate your kids, then the problem goes away. Your child will then be allowed to attend school. So all you have to do is vaccinate your child. That's it. Vaccinate your kid and you're safe. And the kid's safe. And all the kid's classmates are safe. Now, I heard a very ignorant person make a comment on my channel recently, and because they were also not well connected to reality, they're no longer here, say that, well, if vaccines worked, then you wouldn't be afraid of unvaccinated kids at school, who doesn't seem to understand the concept of herd immunity. Because you see, there are people who can't get vaccines because they're too young. There are people who haven't received vaccines because they come from places where vaccines are not as common as they are here. And there are people who have compromised immune systems who can't get vaccines, or vaccines don't work as well, say if you're on chemotherapy and radiation treatment. So being exposed to unvaccinated people is really dangerous. If those people get near someone who's got measles or mumps, they're not just going to get really sick, they're going to die. And there are people who will get sick and die from things that are commonly eradicated by vaccines. So for herd immunity to function properly, you have to be in the 95 plus range of the herd. That means that you need as many people in the herd, the community, to be vaccinated as possible. That way that there is no vector path for the disease to get from person to person. Because even if it infects one person, it doesn't have any place to go to get to the other person that's somewhere else in the community that isn't vaccinated. So congratulations, herd immunity works. The people that aren't vaccinated are safe because everybody else is vaccinated. Now, the reason that parents don't want to vaccinate their children is a misguided and very ignorant desire, in this case, to protect their kids. They want to protect their kids, they're just being ignorant. So they seem to be not making the mental leap to understand that the reason this new law is in place is because all the parents of the school system who are smart enough to vaccinate their kids want to protect their kids. It's the same desire. It's just the people who vaccinate their children are a hell of a lot smarter than the ones that don't vaccinate their kids. Vaccines are not dangerous. Period. If you have a child, vaccinate them. Because if you don't, you are endangering their lives, and you are endangering the lives of everyone else that could be compromised, have a compromised immune system, is too young, or again, comes from a place where vaccines are not common. And that happens all the time. There are measles and mumps outbreaks in America. Can you believe that? Measles and mumps. Diseases that we had pretty much destroyed until the anti-vaxxers came around. And then suddenly, they're everywhere. And it's just ignorance. Misguided desire to protect their kids, but they're doing it in an incredibly ignorant manner. So please, if you have kids, vaccinate them. It's the smart thing to do. It's the wise thing to do. And everybody out there that's telling you to vaccinate your kids want their children and your children to be safe.